When was the last time you felt satisfied with what you had? Not just happy for a moment, not just relieved that bills were paid, but truly at peace with no urge to chase the next thing. Can you even remember? Because every raise, every bonus, every new purchase, it feels good for a second. But then what? You set a new goal, a new target, a new version of success. And suddenly, what once felt like a dream now feels like the bare minimum. The hunger that never stops. You tell yourself it's ambition, that growth is good, that you should want more, work harder, push further, and maybe that's true. But have you ever asked yourself why? Why isn't what you have enough? Why does the finish line keep moving? Why do you still feel like you're one step away from finally being content, but that step never actually comes? That's the trap. The second you taste success, the hunger grows stronger. You make more money, so you upgrade your life. You hit one goal, so you immediately set another. You keep stacking achievements, thinking that one day you'll hit a point where you finally feel complete. But that day never comes. Greed isn't always obvious. It doesn't always look like excess or selfishness. Sometimes it looks like hard work, like discipline, like ambition. But if more is never enough, what are you really chasing? Validation, security, the feeling that you finally made it? Or are you just running from the terrifying thought that maybe nothing will ever fill the void? Because here's the truth, there is no finish line. Not unless you draw one. So before you chase the next big thing, stop and ask yourself, how much is enough? And if you don't have an answer, are you really in control? Or are you just another prisoner of the chase? The hidden disease of never feeling satisfied. Greed isn't just for billionaires. It's not just Wall Street executives or CEOs hoarding wealth. It's in your neighborhood, your office, your bank account. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening. Morgan Housel warns that greed is the silent destroyer of everyday people. It doesn't come crashing into your life. It creeps in quietly, disguised as progress, ambition, success. It convinces you that more is always better. That the next upgrade, the next purchase, the next lifestyle change will finally be the thing that makes you feel like you've arrived. But the truth? You never arrive. The illusion of success. Look around. The moment someone gets a raise, they upgrade everything. A better car, a bigger house, fancier vacations, expensive clothes, and everyone applauds it. Wow, you're doing so well. You deserve it. You've earned this. Nobody questions it. Nobody asks if they're happier. They just see the upgrades and assume life must be great. And so the cycle continues. Because the moment you start upgrading, the people around you expect you to keep going. Your friends get nicer cars, so now yours feels old. Your co-worker books a luxury trip, so now your vacation seems cheap. The bar keeps rising, and suddenly what once felt like success now feels like the bare minimum. So who are you actually doing this for? The people you're trying to impress? Family? Friends? Strangers on social media? Gee, be honest. How many times have you bought something you didn't need? Not because you truly wanted it, but because you wanted other people to see you with it. You justify it. I need a reliable car. No, you need a car that looks like a success. You convince yourself. This house is an investment. No, it's a lifestyle upgrade you weren't going to wait for. You rationalize it. I work hard. I deserve this. Do you? Or do you need approval? The truth about greed. It's not just about wanting things. It's about needing validation. It's about believing that your worth is tied to what you own, what you drive, where you vacation, and what other people think of you. And that's why it never stops. Because if you need approval to feel successful, you will never have enough. So sit with that for a second. Are you really chasing a better life? Or just trying to prove something to people who probably aren't even paying attention? How greed turns success into self-destruction. Making more money isn't the problem. Keeping it is. You've seen it before, maybe you've lived it. Someone gets a raise, a promotion, a better job, and suddenly life upgrades overnight. A better car, because now they can afford it. A bigger house, because why not? They're making more. More vacations, fancier restaurants, expensive hobbies, because they've earned it. And at first, it feels like success. But then the bills start piling up. The mortgage eats their paycheck. The car loan stretches for years. The new lifestyle they thought was freedom turns into a trap. Because when the income goes up, so do the expenses. Then the lifestyle goes up. Then the expectations go up. And suddenly, they're making six figures and still living paycheck to paycheck. The whisper of just a little more. Greed doesn't shout. It whispers, just a little more. One more upgrade. One more vacation. One more splurge. And it sounds reasonable. Just one more. But one more thing never stops. So they keep chasing, thinking the next raise will fix everything. That making more money is the answer, when the problem was never about how much they made. The problem is they never learned how to stop. Trapped by success. They thought money would give them freedom. Instead, it gave them chains with better branding. They can't take risks anymore because the bills have to be paid. They can't slow down because their lifestyle demands more. They can't walk away because they built a life they can't afford to lose. And now, the very success they worked for is the reason they feel stuck. What are you holding on to? Be honest. Have you fallen into the same trap? Have you convinced yourself that you need more, not because you actually do, but because you refuse to let go of what you've already added? Because greed isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you refuse to give up. So ask yourself, are you chasing freedom, or just feeding the cycle that's keeping you trapped? Housel's cure: stop playing games you can't win. Real wealth is invisible. Morgan Housel doesn't define wealth by cars, mansions, or designer clothes. He defines it by peace, by time, by freedom. The things that actually matter, the things most people trade away for the illusion of success. Because here's the truth, the real game isn't about running faster, it's about quitting the race. The game that destroys you. Look around. Everyone's trying to keep up. Upgrading their homes, their cars, their vacations, stretching their budgets, swiping their cards, financing their image. And for what? To impress people who are also drowning. To compete with people who are just as trapped. Housel puts it bluntly. You don't need to out-earn other people. You need to stop playing their game. Because most of them aren't actually winning. They just look like they are. Until they collapse. The ones who quietly win. There are two kinds of wealthy people. The first type, the flashy ones. The ones who live in excess, spend recklessly and make sure everyone sees it. They look like winners until the economy dips, the business fails, or the payments catch up. Then it's gone. The second type, the ones you never see coming. They live modestly, they don't flex, they drive cars they own outright. They invest, save, and avoid the cycle of endless upgrades. And while everyone else is burning through money, they quietly build real wealth. They don't win by having the most. They win by needing the least. Rethinking what winning looks like. Housel asks a simple question. What's the point of making money if you're still stuck? If you have a mansion but no time to enjoy it, are you free? If you earn six figures but spend six figures, are you really winning? If you look successful but can't afford to stop working, who are you fooling? Most people don't need more money, they need less obligation, less debt, less pressure, less addiction to the next big thing. Real power is walking away. The world tells you quitting is a weakness, that you should grind harder, earn more, spend bigger. But what if real power is walking away? Walking away from the race you can't win. Walking away from proving yourself to people who don't matter. Walking away from the stress, the debt, the constant need for more. Because the truth is, you only win when you stop playing their game. Why your greed is quietly stealing your future. Greed doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream or wave red flags. It whispers. It tells you to take the bigger deal, even when it's risky. It convinces you to invest in what you don't understand because the returns look amazing. It urges you to stretch your budget, the finance, the upgrades, take on more than you can handle because it'll all pay off later. Until one day, it doesn't. The blind spot that destroys everything. Greed makes you blind to danger. It tricks you into thinking more is always better, more risk, more leverage, more investments, more expansion. And it feels like momentum, like progress, until it turns into overreach. That's when businesses collapse. That's when investments crash. That's when people lose everything. Not because they didn't make enough, but because they didn't know when to stop. And when that moment comes, it's already too late. Greed doesn't just empty bank accounts. The real cost of greed isn't just financial, it's mental, emotional, physical. It steals your energy because you're always chasing, never resting. It steals your relationships because money replaces real connection. It steals your peace of mind because no matter how much you have, it never feels like enough. And that's the cruelest part. You can earn millions, but if greed is running the show, you will never feel secure. You'll always feel like you're one bad move away from losing it all. Because when greed is in control, you don't own your money owns you. The real danger isn't poverty. Most people think the biggest financial risk is not making enough money. It's not. The real risk? Thinking you're safe just because you make a lot. Because the higher you climb, the further you can fall. And when you ignore the warning signs, when you let greed push you beyond reason, that fall isn't just painful, it's devastating. So ask yourself, who's really in control? Are you building a future? Or is greed quietly stealing it, one reckless decision at a time? The freedom of saying no to more. What if you stopped upgrading? What if you stayed exactly where you are, same house, same car, same job, and decided, was this enough? Would that thought make you feel calm? Or would it make you panic? Because we've been conditioned to believe that staying still is failure, that we should always want more, bigger, better. The moment we stop chasing, we start falling behind. But behind who? The radical power of rejecting growth. Real freedom isn't in the next pay raise or the next house upgrade. It's in the ability to say no. No, I don't need a bigger mortgage. No, I don't need a fancier car. No, I don't need to keep proving myself. The world tells you that success means always wanting more. But have you ever noticed that the people who never stop climbing never seem at peace? They're always looking for the next thing because they think contentment is something they'll reach once they have enough. But contentment isn't something you find at the finish line. It's a choice you make right now. Why contentment is the rarest luxury. Anyone can chase more. That's easy. That's what everyone does. But how many people do you know who are truly content? Who isn't scrambling for the next promotion, the next purchase, the next milestone? That's why contentment is valuable. It's rare. Not because it's impossible, but because most people are too afraid to sit still long enough to find it. Wanting less is equal to real peace. Think about the last time you felt peaceful. It wasn't when you got more money. It was when you didn't need to think about money. When nothing was pulling at you. When you weren't stuck in the cycle of wanting, chasing, and stressing. That peace. That's what everyone is really looking for. And it doesn't come from earning more. It comes from wanting less. What happens when you stop running? So sit with this idea for a second. What if you stopped chasing? What if you didn't upgrade, didn't stretch, didn't add more weight to your life? What if you finally allowed yourself to just be still? Would you feel free? Or would you realize you've never actually known how. Choose your ending. Keep climbing or start living. This is it. Your fork in the road. You have two choices. Keep chasing, keep upgrading, keep pushing for more, run faster, grind harder, climb higher until greed burns everything down. Or step back. Protect what you have. Stop running. Start living. Because here's what no one tells you. There is no finish line. The competition never ends. The comparison never stops. There will always be someone with a bigger house, a nicer car, a more luxurious life. And if you keep chasing, you will spend your entire existence exhausted, not happy. The cost of never stopping. Look at the people who had it all and lost it. The ones who stretched too far, took one too many risks, couldn't resist just one more upgrade. The ones who ignored the warning signs because they thought the next level would finally bring peace. But it never did. And by the time they realized it, they had nothing left to protect. That's what happens when you let greed decide your path. It doesn't quit. It doesn't have an enough point. It will take everything. Your money, your time, your energy, your peace, unless you decide to end the game. What are you really afraid of? Be honest. Why does stopping scare you? Are you afraid of having less? Or are you afraid of finally being satisfied? Because if you don't know how to be satisfied now, you never will be. If you're done chasing shadows, prove it. Comment "Enough is enough" if you're ready to step off the treadmill and take back control. Most people will keep scrolling, keep chasing, keep running until greed destroys them. But those who stop now, they're the ones who will finally sleep at night. And this is just the beginning. There are more financial lies to crush, more truths they don't want you to see. If you're bold enough to keep going, stick around, because the next truth, it's going to hit even harder.